Welcome to the Lilly Lectures podcast. I am your host, William Lilly. Today, we delve into a fascinating historical account from December 1644, a time when a London merchant faced a dilemma regarding a lost ship and sought my astrological insights. In this gripping tale, a merchant had dispatched a vessel to the coast of Spain for trade, only to hear troubling reports of it being lost or wrecked in a severe storm. The merchant's willingness to pay a hefty insurance premium of 60% spoke to the gravity of the situation. Yet the ship's loss had become so widely known that no insurance company dared to take the risk. A concerned friend of the merchant sought my counsel, and I cast a chart for the 7th of January 1645 at 3:30 p.m. in London, England. Through careful analysis, I offered my judgment that the ship was not lost, but alive, albeit in a precarious state. My conclusions were drawn from the intricate dance of planets in the celestial realm. The ascendant, positioned at 11 degrees and 33 minutes of Cancer, held the key to understanding the ship's condition. 3 fixed stars of Saturn-like nature were ascending with these degrees, and Saturn itself cast a square aspect from the 11th house, afflicting the ascendant. This affliction painted a picture of a heavy and sluggish ship, much like Saturn's nature and in poor condition. Let us now unravel the other intricate astrological considerations that guided my judgment in this intriguing historical case. I also noted that the moon, as the lord of the ascendant, was located in the 11th house and in its exaltation, unimpeded and applying a favorable sextile aspect to the ascending degree. It intervened between the ascendant and the opposition of Mercury and the Sun in the 7th house, which would have been dangerous otherwise, as any opposite aspect to the ascendant in this judgment was deemed risky. Based on these observations, along with the close proximity of the moon to Jupiter and other significators above the Earth, which was a significant factor in this judgment, I concluded that the ship had not been lost but was alive, and that both the sailors and officers were in good condition. The next question posed was regarding the ship's location, the coast it was on, and when news would arrive about it. Considering that the moon was fixed and placed in the 11th house, I determined that the ship was southwest of London and near the coast between Ireland and Wales. I judged that at that time the ship was in a harbour to address its defects or repairs. This conclusion was drawn from the fixed position of Taurus, representing the moon's placement in the 11th house, which signifies comfort and relief. It was later revealed that the ship was indeed in the west and in a harbour. Due to the moon's approaching trine aspect with Mercury, who was in Capricorn, a south sign and a western angle, I predicted that news, letters, or information about the ship would be received very soon. The close aspect between these significators led me to suggest either that night or within 2 days, which proved to be true. Notably, I found encouragement in the fact that the part of fortune was disposed by Mars, and Mercury, to whom the moon was applying, was in reception with Mars. Additionally, the moon's forceful aspect with the Sun, the lord of the 2nd house, which pertains to substance, indicated that the merchant would profit from the venture and not suffer losses. It is also worth mentioning that Jupiter's antishon fell on the 9th house cusp of Leo, which is closely connected to the 2nd house, and Mars's antishon fell on the ascending degree. These were positive indications of safety, with Mars being the lord of the 11th house and the dispositor of the part of fortune, while Jupiter governed the 10th house associated with trade and commerce. It is generally observed that when the moon applies to a favorable aspect with a retrograde planet, it swiftly brings the matter to a conclusion when least expected. In cases like this, if the moon forms good aspects with the benefic planets or any planet in the angles, it provides reason for hope. In conclusion, the ascendant, being free from the presence of infortunes, along with the lord of the ascendant and the moon and their respective dispositor, signified positive outcomes. The presence of the lord of the ascendant in the 10th, 11th, or 9th houses, as well as its trine or sextile aspect with Jupiter or the lord of the 11th, were also favorable signs. Now let's look at another ship. The chart details for this one are the 19th of March, 1647, at 10:29 a.m. London. In this case, the ascendant and the moon were the significators of the ship and those sailing in it. The moon had recently separated from a square aspect with Saturn, the lord of the 8th and 9th houses, which indicated that the ship had been in danger of shipwreck. The moon's lack of course signified that no news had been heard about the ship. The square aspect between the moon and Saturn, both in fixed signs and negatively aspecting each other, suggested a malicious and detrimental influence. Additionally, both planets were in cadent houses, and the moon did not immediately form a favorable aspect with any benefic planet. After separating from Saturn, the moon applied to oppose Mercury, the lord of the 12th and 4th houses. Mercury, as the dispositor of the moon, was in detriment and entering combustion. Jupiter, the dispositor of Mercury, was subterranean and in conjunction with Mars, and Mars was in its fall near the cusp of the 2nd house. These negative configurations indicated that the merchant was likely to suffer losses. The part of fortune was in the 6th house, disposed by Jupiter, who was retrograde in the 2nd house and not in aspect with the part of fortune. The moon also formed a square aspect with the part of fortune, and Mercury formed a square aspect from the other side. With so many negative indications of loss rather than gain, it was judged that the merchant would lose a significant or potentially all the investment made in the ship. Consequently, it was doubted that the ship had been lost, which later proved to be true. Thank you for joining me today on this exploration. As we bid farewell to this episode of the Lilly Lectures, may these astrological insights continue to inspire your exploration of the profound world of astrology. Until our next rendezvous with the stars, I am William Lilly, and this is Christian Astrology.